So today I'm going to take you through a brief meditation practice which is all about really observing our thoughts. So quite often what happens with our thoughts is we have a thought and we believe it and we react to it. Even if we know maybe it's not quite true or there's some shades of grey in here, quite often our emotions react as though it's totally true. Which isn't a problem if it's a nice neutral or positive thought, but if it's a negative thought it can become a real difficulty and it can get stuck in your head and you go over it and over it and over it. But thoughts are actually just that. They're just thoughts, they're just something that comes up for us, and that we can learn to think of them as something that we can observe in the same way that we can observe sound and what we can hear. Or in the same way that we can observe something that we're seeing for the first time, without having to get caught up and fused with the thought so that it becomes something that we respond to in a particular way. And this can give us a bit of an ability to take a step back and respond to the thought how we choose to respond, how we want to. So your first task is just to get yourself into a comfortable position that's going to allow you to take part in the meditation. So you might want to be sat, in which case the ideal is to have your feet flat on the floor and your spine straight. And if that's not right for you, then you could just lay down. You could choose to make this a bit of a chilled out session for you, take the time out and lay down on a bed. So when you're comfortable, I'm going to invite you just to close your eyes. And we're going to start just by settling ourselves in the present moment. So the way that we do that is just to bring awareness, bring attention to the breath as you breathe. So become aware of yourself breathing. Perhaps, if you've not done this before or you feel you need a little bit of guidance, then perhaps focusing at first on just noticing where you breathe from. Perhaps you breathe in through your mouth or your nose. Seeing if you can place your attention in that area. And become aware of what it feels like to breathe. Perhaps noticing the temperature of your breath. Perhaps noticing if there's any difference in the temperature as you start and end the breath. And you may want to stay there just focusing on the breath at the place where it enters your body, or you may wish to allow your attention to spread to other parts of the breath. So perhaps noticing the rise and fall of your belly, or the rise and fall of your chest. You may want to notice how you're breathing. How deep is your breath going? How shallow is your breath going? Are you breathing just into your chest? Or is your breath going all the way down and you're feeling your belly move when you place a hand on it? For the purpose of mindfulness, there is no right or wrong way to breathe. If we want to relax and get enough oxygen into our bloodstream, then it can be helpful to breathe in through the nose, right down into the belly, and out through the mouth. but only if this feels right for you. So just focusing in on the breath now. We're going to keep our attention here at the breath. See if you can focus your attention. Allow it to be solely on your breath. This is not normal and natural for us. Our minds like to think. And it's likely that at times the mind will take you away from the breath. Thoughts of the day, thoughts of yesterday, thoughts of tomorrow. And if it happens, it's not a sign that you're doing anything wrong. Simply notice where the mind took you, what that thought was. And without getting caught up in the thought, just simply observing it. So it may be helpful for you to picture in your mind's eye, this amazing ability that we have to see things in our imagination, to picture a TV screen. Whenever you notice a thought that takes you away from the breath, simply allowing that thought to play out on the TV screen. Perhaps that thought will stay around for a while. Perhaps it will disappear very quickly. If it disappears quickly, then you may want to turn your attention back to the breath until you notice another thought take you away from this moment with the breath. And placing it too on the TV screen just to observe. So when thoughts are on the TV screen, we are observing them in the same way that we would observe watching the TV from home. We're not caught up in them, we're just seeing them. And when the thought moves on of its own accord, if it's replaced by another thought, then putting that too on the TV screen. If not, then just allowing yourself to bring your attention to the breath again until you notice your mind move away once more. You're taking some time now just to practice that. Just to practice observing the mind when it moves away from the breath. And remembering, of course, that the fact that it moves away is not your fault. It's not a sign that you're doing anything wrong. It's just what minds like to do. If at any point you find yourself actually quite caught up in the thought, to the point where instead of observing the TV screen, you're kind of in it. You're part of the movie, part of the show that's playing out. And if so, when you notice that that's happened, using your breath as an anchor, come back to the breath, bring your attention back to the breath just like you did before. At a place that's vivid for you, whether that's the gateways of the nose or the throat, or the rise and fall of your belly. Just simply becoming aware of this present moment. For however short a period it lasts for you, before a thought comes up that takes you away, and then once more just putting that on the TV screen and observing. I'm going to stay quiet for a moment just to give you some time just to practice being with the present moment and observing whatever comes up for you. Every now and then just checking in with, where's my attention right now? Is it on the breath? Am I observing a thought? Or have I got caught up in a thought? Am I in that movie? If so, once again, just guiding your attention back to the breath as best you can when you can. When you're ready, it feels right for you, we're just going to slowly start the process of coming back to the world around us. We'll start this by just returning our attention wherever it's gone to now, just returning it to the breath where we started. When you're ready and it feels right for you, expanding your attention to notice the body as a whole, breathing. Perhaps noticing the points of contact that your body has with the chair or the bed or the floor. When you're ready, expanding your attention a little bit further to also take in any sounds that might be coming to your ears in this moment. You notice a sound, perhaps seeing if you can open up to another sound, a sound beneath the sounds. Just gradually allowing your attention to spread, to notice your breath, your body, and those sounds. And just resting here in awareness now until the sound of the bells brings this practice to a natural close. You may want to even just take a moment just to congratulate yourself on taking this time to practice being with yourself while observing the thoughts that come up.